Almost the end of May, May 30th, or in lots of places around the world, yep, it's already May 31st. Just take a deep breath. Let it go slowly. And just simply be here now. Relax to the best extent you can. If you're driving or doing something like that while you're listening to this, then obviously don't. But otherwise, just relax. Take it easy. My readings are usually about 10 minutes, 15 sometimes, but here we are. Several people have mentioned that they think I should do something about this background. Well, I did a few experiments yesterday. I figured out how to put on a virtual background. Unfortunately, it didn't work very well. Then I did some Googling and I guess I used AI, but whatever. And I found out that potentially what I need is a green screen and a light in front of me that actually sheds more light on here so that things don't seem to shimmer around when I put a background on there. So we'll see how it works. They're still supposed to come tomorrow, so keep your fingers crossed. Maybe tomorrow you'll see a different background. How about that? Yeah, let's get on with the reading. Today is called Your One Precious Life. The first quote is from a lady by the name of Edna St. Vincent Millay. Really? Anyway, she was a very famous poet and playwright. And she was born towards the end of the 19th century, and she lived to just beyond the second half of the 20th century. Very popular during the Roaring Twenties, kind of went out of favor, and then came back in again with the women's feminist movement. She says, "Beauty is whatever gives you joy. Beauty is whatever gives you joy." She was a Pulitzer Prize winner. She won other literary prizes. Definitely somebody worth listening to. Edna St. Vincent Millay, Millay. I don't know if I butchered her name or not. Ernest Holmes says, "Have the will to be well, to be happy, and to live in joy. Have the will to be well, to be happy, and to live in joy." And this is from Diana Ensign, our writer this month, who says, "When I was writing my book on grief and healing, entitled Heart Guide, one young woman I interviewed who had lost her 26-year-old brother to an aggressive form of cancer said her lesson from his loss was, quote, 'Don't wait to live your own life and do the things that are fulfilling and will make you happy,' unquote. To one of her brothers, she said, quote, 'I try to focus on things I know will bring me joy,' unquote. Such life reminders are not easy, but they can serve as useful reminders that our time here on this earth is brief. They also present us with opportunities to decide what kind of life we want to live. By consciously choosing our thoughts and our behaviors, we can begin living more intentionally and more mindfully. Explore for yourself questions such as, what brings me happiness? What choices will bring me more joy? She goes on to say, as Ernest Holmes advised, quote, "Permit yourself to accept your heart's desire. The one who listens closely to their own spirit shall hear a song no other person can sing." Then she says, take some time today to ask how you might add more joy and beauty to your life. For example, she says you can brainstorm the following. If I could do anything, it would be fill in the blank. I get excited when fill in the blank. I love spending time fill in the blank. Ask yourself, as poet Mary Oliver said, what is What is it that you plan to do with one with your own wild and precious life? He says, then make choices that will lead you in the direction of your dreams. What is it that brings you joy? The way that you know that you're actually fulfilling your dreams is if you're pursuing something that brings you joy. I've got to add a little proviso here, though. Some of us end up in a position where we just have to look after other people. Some people become caregivers. Yes, there are options for some people, but for some people, there aren't. So, my advice today is twofold. Yeah? The first one is what brings you joy? Go find out. Just if you don't know, then what makes you happy? What gives you that wonderful feeling of accomplishment? For me, believe it or not, there's a bunch of things, but one of them actually is traveling. I love traveling. Another one, believe it or not, is well, you probably would believe the travel one, but believe it or not, it's preparing PowerPoint presentations. I just love it. And also when I get into it, working with spreadsheets. I know these are kind of wild things, but the spreadsheets one, I've actually got to push myself to start it. But once I start, I really love doing it. And the PowerPoint one, I just love pulling information together, putting it in PowerPoint presentation, preparing presentations, preparing classes. I've got to get myself motivated to start. But once I do, I really love doing that. And the other one is if you know somebody who's a caretaker for somebody else, and you have the opportunity to give them a bit of freedom, allow them to go out and do something while you look after whoever it is they're looking after. Or if you've got a lot of money, that you can actually help them by paying for somebody to look after somebody while they get a bit of free time. So those are some suggestions. Don't take it as, hey, I've got to do this, I got to do that. No, take some time and figure out what it is that gives you joy. As I said, if you're in a position to help somebody who really is stuck caretaking for others, then help them out because hey, life is great when we work together. Community has got a lot of different meanings. It can mean just two or three people. It can mean a whole bunch of people. The community often is what gives us life. I think that we human beings were designed to live in groups. We were designed to live in things like village communities. This is my belief. And that when we start living as we do now in big cities and we're separated from everybody else, then we start to lose things. And that's why, in my humble opinion, it really helps us when we go out and find communities that we can be a part of. For instance, our Toastmasters community is one. My wife with her international friends community. The chamber that I belong to, that I'm pretty active in, obviously our spiritual center that I'm pretty active in, online stuff that I'm active with. So as we come up to the weekend, just give these thoughts some consideration. But also consider this. I'm saying it's an affirmation, but seriously consider it. I allow myself to be happy. I allow myself to be happy. I choose to align my life with joy. I choose to align my life with joy. Now, remember, happiness and joy are two different things, as we've discussed. Happiness is short lived, it's related to specific things. Joy is that underlying, it's the underlying thing in our subconscious mind that tells us that no matter what's going on, everything's going to be okay. So it's kind of the foundation there that helps. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be back with my green screen, which you won't see because there'll be a virtual background, but there you are then. Maybe I will just show the green screen and see how that works. Who knows? We're going to experiment. We're going to have some fun with this. We're going to see how it goes. So remember, Reverend Lisa will be back tomorrow. She'll have a different message, but it's all coming from the same source because there's only one source of everything. Until next time, namaste.